Hello, welcome back to Coding the Conway's Game of Life in Ruby. In the previous video, we have begun drawing our Gosu gaming window. We drew a background and we made some variables here specifying the height and width and the color of the background, and now we're going to connect our main Ruby file with our Gosu file. So with what to begin? So first off, let's think about what we need to do when we initialize this gaming window. Well, we should initialize our game class. Okay. So now let me comment this and let us say a game itself. Okay. So as I said, we should initialize a game somehow, right? So let's create a variable called game equals game new. Okay, so as you can see, this game class is going to be pulled from our main file. Okay, it's going to pull this class, and here you can see the beauty of keeping your code in separate files and connecting them, etc. Okay, so now that we have created this new game object, we have to provide it with some gaming world, okay? And we're not going to take this default world because this default world has 3 rows and 3 columns. We want some more complex world, so we're going to create that more complex world in just a second. So for right now, it is world. And as you recall, our intention was to pre-populate this game class with these seeds, but we're not going to do that right now because we're going to have a large world, and we would have to write many coordinates, each specifying a separate seed, and that can be tiresome. Instead, we're going to pre-populate this world with a new method which we are going to introduce in a second. Okay, so before pre-populating the world, let us create that world first off. So it is world equals world.new, and that world takes 2 arguments specifying rows and columns. Okay, and in the same fashion as we have specified these height and width in variables to make our code flexible, we're going to do the same with the number of columns and number of rows within this world object. Okay, so we're going to write here columns and rows. Okay, and we're going to define which number these columns and which number these rows are. So columns. Let us also do this in a similar fashion as we have done this to ensure the flexibility of our code, and we can do this by referencing. We can extract the number of columns by referencing width and then dividing it by some number to give it a flexible value. Okay, so let's say width divided by 10. Okay, and in a similar fashion, we go rows equals height divided by 10. Okay, so right now you can see the beauty of our code because we just specified the height and the width, and every other variable is derived from these 2 values. Okay, we have to provide nothing more, and we get this flexible gaming window. Okay, so now that we have this, let us just run our Ruby Gosu Game of Life to see if we receive any errors. We don't, so yay for us. Right now, so we have our world, we have our game, but we didn't pre-populate this world with its initial state. Right now, this world has a whole bunch of dead cells, and none of them are alive. So let us pre-populate that. We're going to pre-populate this world with a new method which we're going to introduce. So we are going to be doing, let's say, game.world. Let's say our method is going to be called randomly populate. Okay. But first off, let us comment out this line and let us build this method as we have done in the past using TDD. Okay, so as you recall, we have to go within a context of a world and write something like it should respond to proper methods. The subject should respond to randomly populate. Okay, and run our specs. So our spec game of life. We see that we receive one error because we do not have this method. So let us create it somewhere here. Let's create it on the bottom of a class called world. Right here after counting the neighbors. So let's define randomly populate and okay. Let's run our tests. We see that they're passing. Let's create a test for that specific method. So it should randomly populate the world. Okay, do and let's think about how we're going to test this. Right now, as is, our world, so subject, has a lot of dead cells. Okay, so subject, let's say cell, each do cell. So this isn't subject cell, but subject cells. That is a proper way. Subject cell should be dead. This is a very dirty test, but it is passing. So let's write. So now that we are sure that each and every cell of our world is dead, let us write subject randomly populate, and let us run our tests again. They're passing because nothing is wrong here. But if we then, after randomly populating our world, if we then test if each cell should be dead, it shouldn't. Should not be dead. Okay. Expect dead to return true, return false. Okay, but I'm not sure if this test is the proper one. Oh, okay, I apologize. This test is awesome. Let me just delete everything here that you see and create this test from a start. So let's just introduce another method like subject live cells. Okay, and live cells, let's say, should be empty. This live cells is going to be an array containing all live cells within our world. Let's run our specs here, and we can see that we get an undefined method live cells. And let us create, first off, let us create the testing for responding to that method. This is quite a detour, but we have to do this. So live cells, and we have two failing errors. Let's define live cells and move that method up here above, and we'll populate. I don't know why, but now we have undefined method empty. Okay, so should let's say count on subjects live cells count should equal 0. Okay, and we are returning nil because this live cells doesn't do anything. So we're going to code this like this. We are going to access our cells array and then select elements which were referenced by this cell. Select elements which have a live attribute true. Okay, now let's run our tests, and we see that they are passing. So this is awesome, and now we have this live cells count should be 0. Okay, so now after we randomly populate the world, subject live cells count should not be equal to 0. Okay, let's run our tests one more time. Okay, so our spec, I apologize, does not support this exclamation mark equals sign. So let me just write this. Actually, can I write should not be empty? I'm curious. Because this is an array, I think I can do this. Oh no, I cannot. Okay, I apologize. Count should not. Let's just write this the old-fashioned way. I believe there's a way to write this with empty, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. So, as we said, we get an error because our count is 0 and it should not be 0. And for it not to be 0, we have to randomly populate our world. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to iterate over each and every cell in our world. And randomly assign a true or false value to its live attribute. And the way we do that is, let's cell live is going to be equals true or false sample. And what this does is, what this small array and this sample does is just takes a random element from that array. Okay, so it's either true or false. So now when we run our tests, we see that they're correct. And we are reasonably sure that our world right now is being randomly populated. Okay, so let's go back to our Gosu Game of Life file. And let's uncomment this line which we have commented out, which randomly populates the world. And now let's just run our Ruby gaming window to see if we receive any errors. We don't, which is a great sign, because right now we are kind of sure that this is working. This is it for this video. In the next video we're going to give colors and shapes to the cells which we have randomly populated this world with. So, see you in the next video.